When you're thinking, you're actually listening. But have you ever stopped to wonder, who or what are you listening to? Is it your voice, the one you've grown accustomed to, or is it something deeper? Something hidden, something that whispers truths and lies all at once? Something that nudges you forward or pulls you back? Think about it. That constant chatter in your head, narrating every detail of your life, doubting your decisions, replaying old memories like broken records, or even predicting futures that never come to pass. What is it really? And why does it hold so much power over you? Here's the reality most of us never truly grasp. You are not your thoughts. You're not that voice. You are the one who hears it, the listener, the observer, the silent witness to all that noise, standing just behind the curtain, watching the show unfold. And yet, so many of us go through life trapped in our own heads. Tangled in an endless web of mental chatter, we mistake it for reality. We let it define us, confine us, and limit what we believe is possible. But what if I told you that freedom from this noise, this relentless inner dialogue, is not just a distant dream? What if it's closer than you think? What if it's always been within your reach? Imagine breaking free from the mental maze your mind has created. Imagine a life where you aren't weighed down by doubts, regrets, or worries. Imagine experiencing a clarity so pure, a peace so profound, and an energy so boundless that it feels like you're finally living, not merely existing. You see, the mind is a master of control. It's a machine that thrives on keeping you occupied, busy, endlessly cycling through thoughts, plans, fears, and regrets. The mind doesn't rest. It doesn't want to rest. It thrives on this ceaseless activity because it keeps you distracted. Distracted from the present moment. Distracted from the life unfolding right in front of you. While you're lost in thought, life is happening. Every single moment is slipping by, unnoticed. You miss the beauty of a sunrise, the stillness of a quiet evening, the sound of laughter, the feeling of simply being. You miss the magic of now. But there's another way. There's a part of you, a deeper, quieter part that exists beyond the noise. It's the part of you that doesn't need to think, analyze, or control. It just is. It's the part that feels alive when you're fully present. The part that knows peace not as a fleeting moment, but as a constant state. In this video, we're going to dive into how to silence that endless noise and connect with this deeper part of you. The part that exists beyond your thoughts, beyond your emotions, beyond the illusions your mind creates to keep you stuck. We'll explore how to free yourself from the constant chatter and rediscover the essence of who you truly are. So I invite you to pause. Take a deep breath right now. Let go of whatever you're holding, whether it's a worry, a plan, or an expectation. Just for a moment, let yourself be. Let this moment mark the beginning of a journey. A journey not to somewhere new, but to somewhere forgotten. A journey to rediscover the real you, the you that's been there all along, quietly waiting behind the noise. Because here's the truth. That voice in your head, it isn't you. It never was. And when you understand this, not just intellectually, but deeply, viscerally in your heart, you'll see your thoughts, your life, and your very existence in an entirely new light. Now let's dive deeper into uncovering the true nature of that voice and how you can finally reclaim your inner peace. When you're alone with your thoughts, what do you hear? A calm and supportive guide or restless chatter that never seems to stop? Most of us live with an inner voice that never quiets down, a constant narration that analyzes, criticizes, plans, and replays. But here's the eye-opening truth. That voice isn't you. Pause for a moment. If you can hear the voice, if you can observe it, doesn't that mean you're separate from it? You're not the chatter itself. You're the one listening to it. This realization is a powerful step toward reclaiming your inner peace, because once you know you're not the voice, you can begin to detach from its grip. But why is the voice there in the first place? Its purpose isn't inherently harmful. It's a mechanism designed to keep you safe, to help you make sense of the world, to predict and plan. Yet, in its overzealous attempts to protect, it creates mental chaos. It replays arguments, anticipates problems, and often fabricates worries that never come to pass. Imagine for a moment that you're at a movie theater. The screen displays a breathtaking scene, a sunset over a serene ocean. The waves are crashing gently, the horizon glows with hues of orange and pink, and the air feels alive with peace. But instead of soaking in this beauty, there's someone sitting next to you, whispering nonstop. Why is the sun that color? Do you think it's going to rain? What's happening next? Did you forget to check your phone? That's what your inner voice does. It narrates your life so incessantly that you miss the beauty of simply being present. It pulls you away from the wonder of the moment, keeping you tethered to a cycle of unnecessary commentary and distraction. So how do you break free? The first step is to observe the voice. Take a moment right now. Close your eyes if you can. Listen to the thoughts running through your mind. What are they saying? Are they analyzing this idea, planning what you'll do next, or maybe even doubting whether this practice works? Whatever it is, just listen. Notice how the voice behaves as if it has a life of its own. It chatters like an over-enthusiastic narrator, but it's just noise, habitual, automated noise. Here's a key insight. The voice isn't you. It's just a pattern, a collection of mental habits shaped by years of conditioning, experiences, and learned behaviors. It thrives on repetition and the stories you believe about yourself. When you observe it without judgment, you create a gap between yourself and the chatter. This gap is freedom. It's the space where you can experience life directly without the filter of constant mental noise. It's where clarity resides. The voice thrives on your attention. The more you believe in its stories, the stronger it becomes. But the moment you step back and watch it, its power begins to dissolve. It's like watching a play. You're no longer the actor caught in the drama. You're the audience, calmly observing the performance. And remember, the goal isn't to silence the voice. That's impossible. Thoughts will come and go. Your job is to recognize that they're just thoughts, not reality. They're transient, like leaves floating down a stream or clouds drifting across the sky. You are the sky, vast, unchanging, and unaffected by the clouds. This is the foundation of inner freedom. Understanding that you are not your thoughts, you are the awareness behind them. And as you strengthen this awareness, you'll discover a deeper sense of peace and clarity than you've ever known. But let's take this further. What happens when that voice stirs up emotions, fear, guilt, anger, or sadness? Those feelings, like thoughts, can overwhelm us, making us believe they define who we are. However, emotions are just energy moving through you. They rise, peak, and eventually fade away, but only if you don't cling to them. Letting go isn't always easy. Some emotions are deeply rooted, tied to past experiences that left scars. Memories of betrayal, loss, or failure can feel like they're etched into your very being. But even then, the key is the same. Feel the emotion, but don't become it. Watch it, but don't let it define you. Think of it this way. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a busy train station. Trains are coming and going, each carrying passengers of different emotions. Anger on one, joy on another, regret on the next. You can see the trains, hear them, and even feel their presence. But you don't have to get on board. You can stand there, grounded, letting the trains pass without being carried away. What if I told you that most of the emotional weight you're carrying isn't from the events themselves, but from your refusal to let go of them? Painful memories, unresolved anger, and lingering fears don't have to define your life, but they will as long as you hold on to them. Emotions are like energy. They need to move, to flow. But when you cling to them, when you replay the past or resist what you feel, that energy gets stuck. It doesn't go away. It turns into baggage you carry with you everywhere you go. And the longer you hold on to it, the heavier it feels. Think about it for a moment. When someone says or does something that hurts you, what happens next? The event might pass in a matter of minutes, but your mind replays it over and over again, analyzing every single detail. You feel the pain as if it's happening again and again, even though the moment has already passed. The truth is, it's not the event that's hurting you anymore. It's your inability to let it go. But letting go isn't about forgetting or pretending that something didn't happen. It's about freeing yourself from the grip it has on you. It's about allowing your emotions to rise, to be felt, and then to move on. It's not about pushing them away or pretending they're not there. It's about letting them flow, allowing them the space to dissipate and release their hold over you. Here's a simple but profound realization. Emotions are temporary. Anger, sadness, fear, they are like waves in the ocean. They rise, they peak, and they eventually fade away. But if you try to fight the wave, if you resist it or hold on to it, you'll be dragged under. The wave will keep you in its grip, and you'll never get the release you need. Let me guide you through a simple practice. Think about something that's been weighing on you. An argument, a regret, a fear of the future, something unresolved or nagging at you. Pay attention to how it feels in your body. Do you notice a tightness in your chest, a knot in your stomach, or a heaviness in your shoulders? Don't judge it or try to push it away. Just observe it and allow it to exist there for the moment. Now take a deep breath. As you exhale, imagine that tightness loosening, that knot unraveling, like the tension in your body is slowly being released. Say to yourself, I see you, I feel you, and I release you. Continue breathing gently, letting the emotion flow through you without trying to resist or hold it back. This is the power of surrender, not as weakness, but as a way of freeing yourself. When you stop fighting your emotions, you create the space for them to pass. You stop clinging to the story your mind is telling you, and instead, you simply feel what's there in the present moment, and that is enough. Of course, letting go isn't always easy. Some emotions are deeply rooted, tied to past experiences that left scars and marks on your heart. These emotions might feel like they've been with you for so long that you don't know who you are without them. But even in these moments, the key is the same. Feel the emotion, but don't become it. Watch it, but don't let it define you. Here's another practice to try. When you feel an intense emotion rising up, label it. Say, this is anger, or this is sadness. By naming it, you separate yourself from it. You remind yourself that it's just an emotion, not who you are, not your identity. You're simply experiencing it in this moment, and it will eventually pass. Because the truth is, life isn't about avoiding pain. It's about moving through it, allowing yourself to feel deeply and fully without getting stuck. Life isn't about running away from difficult emotions. It's about embracing them, feeling them, and then letting them go when it's time. And now that you've begun to release some of the emotional baggage you've been carrying, we can begin to turn to another source of inner tension that many of us face. We all crave control. Control over our lives, control over others, control over the future. It feels safe, doesn't it? Like if you could just manage every detail, you'd finally be okay. But here's the paradox. The more you try to control, the more you realize how little control you actually have. That realization, though terrifying at first, can also set you free. Think about it. How many times have you carefully planned something only to have life take its own course? Maybe you rehearsed the perfect conversation, but it didn't go as expected. Or you envisioned your career unfolding a certain way, only to end up somewhere completely different. It's frustrating, isn't it? But it's also inevitable. Control is an illusion. Life is too vast, too complex to fit into the boxes we create. The weather doesn't change because you wish it wouldn't rain. Other people don't act according to the scripts you've written for them in your mind. And the future unfolds as it will, regardless of how much you try to predict or manipulate it. So what happens when you cling to this illusion of control? You suffer. You resist the natural flow of life, trying to bend it to your will. You stress over things that are beyond your power, exhausting yourself in the process. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. But what if you let go? What if you surrendered, not in defeat, but in trust? Trusting that life knows what it's doing, even when you don't. Trusting that you can handle whatever comes, even when it's not what you planned. Let me guide you through a simple exercise. Close your eyes if you can, and think about something you're trying to control right now. Maybe it's a decision, a relationship, or an outcome you're desperate to make go a certain way. Notice how it feels in your body. Is there tension, anxiety, or a sense of urgency? Now take a deep breath, and as you exhale, imagine releasing that need to control. Picture yourself opening your hands, letting go of the reins you've been gripping so tightly. Say to yourself, I release this. I trust the process. Letting go of control doesn't mean you stop caring or stop taking action. It means you stop trying to force outcomes that aren't yours to dictate. It means you show up, do your best, and then let life take its course. Here's the thing. Life has its own rhythm, its own wisdom. When you stop fighting it, when you surrender to the flow, you find a sense of peace you can't achieve through control. You start to see that even when things don't go as planned, they often turn out better than you could have imagined. Imagine standing in a river. If you resist the current, trying to push the water in a different direction, you'll tire yourself out. But if you flow with it, you'll move effortlessly. Life works the same way. The current is always moving, always guiding you if you're willing to let it. But surrendering isn't just about external circumstances. It's also about your inner world. How often do you try to control your thoughts or emotions, forcing yourself to feel a certain way? What if you simply allowed them to be? What if you trusted that they too will flow and fade, just like everything else? Here's a mantra you can carry with you. I control what I can, and I let go of what I can't. Repeat it whenever you feel the urge to grip tightly, to force, or to resist. It's a reminder that while you can influence your actions, your choices, and your attitude, the rest is up to life. Now that you've loosened your grip on control, let's explore how to live more openly and freely, unlocking the full potential of your heart and your life. As you begin to loosen the reins on your need for control, imagine the possibilities that open up before you. What if every moment, every twist and turn, is an invitation for growth? A call to step into the unknown, into something that could bring you a deeper sense of fulfillment than you could ever script yourself? Life isn't about staying in the driver's seat all the time. Sometimes it's about letting go of the wheel and trusting the road will take you exactly where you need to be. Even if it's not the destination you first envisioned. The beauty of life lies in its surprises, in the unexpected, in the moments that don't fit into your plans. What if we all stopped trying to control the flow of life and simply let it be? Wouldn't the world feel lighter, less pressured, more in tune with the natural rhythm of things? Think about it. Life can be a dance, not a fight. Take a moment and reflect. When you've let go of trying to control the outcome, what has happened? Did things unfold in a way you never could have expected? Did you feel a sense of ease when you stopped trying to force everything into place? Living without the need to control every detail doesn't mean living recklessly. It means embracing the unfolding of life, acknowledging that there are some things you simply can't plan or predict. And that's okay. It's more than okay. It's freeing. Imagine feeling the weight lift from your shoulders as you stop trying to force every outcome. Every day becomes a step in the dance, not a battle. What if that's where peace is found? When we finally accept that life isn't ours to control and we start living in harmony with it instead? With this new perspective, you'll begin to notice subtle shifts around you. The things you once feared are no longer so daunting. The pressure to keep everything in order begins to dissolve. And in its place, you find a natural flow, a sense of freedom you never imagined. You learn that the more you let go, the more you actually gain. Let's take a deep breath together, let go of the tightness, and trust the journey ahead. Life may not always unfold the way you thought it would, but that's where the magic happens. It's in the moments of surrender, when you let go, that life surprises you in the most beautiful ways. Imagine a life where you wake up every morning with a sense of freedom, where your heart feels light, your mind is at peace, and you're open to whatever the day may bring. That's the essence of living openly. But for many of us, it's a distant dream because we've built walls around ourselves. Walls made of fear, pain, and the desire to protect. These walls serve as a defense mechanism, but they also keep us confined, limiting our experiences and connections. Think about it. How many times have you held back your feelings out of fear of being judged? How often have you avoided opportunities because you were too afraid of failing? These walls may feel like they're keeping you safe, But in truth, they're keeping you trapped. They block the flow of life, the connection to others, and the beauty of new experiences. Living openly doesn't mean you won't face challenges or get hurt. It doesn't mean that life will be without its ups and downs. It means you stop letting the fear of those things dictate your life choices. It means you choose to embrace life fully, with all its unpredictability and imperfection. You make a conscious decision to live with an open heart and an open mind. Let's start with the heart. Your heart is the most powerful energy center in your body. When it's open, you feel alive, connected, and at peace. Your emotional energy flows freely, and you experience life to its fullest. But when it's closed, you feel isolated, defensive, and heavy. It's almost as if you're walking around with a weight on your chest. So why do we close our hearts? It's usually because we're afraid. Afraid of being vulnerable, afraid of getting hurt, afraid of being seen for who we truly are. But here's the truth. Vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's the pure expression of strength. When you live with an open heart, you allow yourself to feel deeply, to connect authentically with others, and to experience life fully. Yes, it's risky. Yes, it can sometimes hurt, but it's also where true joy and fulfillment are found. You can't experience the full range of human emotions without embracing vulnerability. Here's a practice to help you start opening your heart. Take a moment and think about someone or something you love. A person, a pet, a place, or even a cherished memory. Focus on the warmth that comes with that love, the feeling of peace that floods your being. Now imagine that warmth expanding, filling your chest and radiating outward. With each breath, let that feeling grow stronger, as if you're sending it out into the world. That's the power of an open heart. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes to live this way. Not guarded, but free. You'll start to notice how much lighter you feel when your heart is open, how much more connected you are to everything around you. Living openly also means embracing the present moment. So often, we get caught up in worrying about the future or regretting the past. We dwell on things we can't change or become anxious about what might happen. Meanwhile, life is happening right here, right now, and we're missing it. The present moment is where life unfolds. It's where beauty, joy, and peace exist. But in order to experience it fully, you have to let go of the mental distractions that pull you away. The mind is a powerful tool, but when it's overactive, it keeps us from truly experiencing the moment. Here's a simple exercise to anchor yourself in the present. Wherever you are, pause, take a deep breath, and notice what's around you. What do you see? What do you hear? What can you feel? Engage your senses fully. Take a moment to ground yourself in the present. When your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to the here and now. This practice of presence is a gateway to living openly. It helps you see life as it is, not as your mind projects it to be, and in that clarity you find freedom. In this space of presence, you begin to reconnect with yourself and the world around you, and it's there that you'll find the peace that you've been searching for. But living openly isn't just about your relationship with yourself. It's also about how you connect with others. How often do we hide our true thoughts and feelings because we're afraid of rejection or misunderstanding? We hold back, keeping parts of ourselves hidden in the shadows. Yet it's in those moments of honesty and vulnerability that real connections are made. When we allow ourselves to be fully seen, flaws and all, we give others the permission to do the same. Here's a challenge. The next time you're in a conversation, practice radical honesty. Share something true about yourself, something you might usually hold back. It might be something small, or it could be something bigger. But notice how it feels to express yourself openly and authentically. You might be surprised at how it deepens your connection with the other person. There's a raw beauty in those moments of unfiltered honesty, and it's in those moments that trust and intimacy are formed. Living openly is also about saying yes to life. Too often we hold back out of fear or doubt, waiting for the perfect moment. But the truth is, life rarely gives you perfect moments. There's never a perfect time to do something new, to take a risk, to step outside your comfort zone. You have to create those perfect moments by stepping forward, by saying yes, even when you're unsure. Saying yes means you embrace what comes your way, Even if it feels scary, it means you choose action over inaction, courage over fear, possibility over limitation. Living openly is a choice you make every single day. It's a practice of letting go of fear, embracing vulnerability, and being fully present in each moment. It's not always easy. In fact, it can be downright uncomfortable. But the rewards are immeasurable. The freedom that comes with living openly is worth every bit of discomfort, every moment of fear. And now that you've unlocked the power of living openly, let's bring it all together by discovering how to achieve true freedom. Freedom that lasts no matter what life throws your way. This kind of freedom isn't dependent on circumstances or external events. It's a deep, internal freedom that comes from knowing who you are and choosing to live fully in alignment with that truth. True freedom is a state of being where you're no longer held back by fear, judgment, or uncertainty. It's the freedom to live authentically, to embrace each moment, and to be fully present in your life. What does it mean to be truly free? Is it having no responsibilities? Is it escaping all pain and struggle? No, real freedom isn't about escaping life. It's about embracing it fully. It's about living without the inner chains that hold you back, the mental chatter, the emotional weight, the need for control. True freedom begins within. Think of freedom not as something you attain, but as something you uncover. It's already there, beneath the layers of fear, doubt, and resistance. Freedom is your natural state when you stop clinging to what no longer serves you and let go of what you can't control. Let's start with the mind. Most of us think freedom comes from solving every problem or achieving every goal. But have you noticed how even when one problem is solved, another one takes its place? It's like a never-ending game. The truth is, the mind will always find something to fixate on unless you learn to step back and observe it. It's a habit that's ingrained in us from an early age. The constant search for answers, for resolution, for the next thing to do. It never stops because the mind is designed to keep moving, keep thinking, and keep analyzing. But this constant churn is not the same as freedom. It only binds you tighter. Here's a practice. The next time your mind starts spinning with worries or plans, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I am not my thoughts. Watch them as if they're leaves floating down a stream. Let them pass without grabbing onto them. This is not about ignoring reality or pretending that things aren't happening around you. It's about freeing yourself from the stories your mind creates around it. Your mind will always try to attach itself to something, whether it's worries about the future, regrets from the past, or plans for what's next. But the key to true freedom is to stop identifying with those thoughts. You are not them. Now let's talk about emotions. True freedom doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop being ruled by your feelings. Emotions will rise and fall like waves. Sometimes they're gentle, other times they're fierce, but they don't have to carry you away. Think about how often we let our emotions control us. One small trigger, and suddenly we're consumed by anger, sadness, fear, or frustration. We act as though we're at the mercy of these waves. But what if we could learn to ride them instead of drowning in them? When you feel anger, sadness, or fear, acknowledge it. Say, I see you and I accept you. Then let it flow through you. Don't resist it. Don't try to push it away. Don't try to bottle it up or force it down. Let it be what it is. This doesn't mean you have to like the feeling or that you should act on it, but it means you no longer have to be controlled by it. Emotions are temporary. They come and go like clouds passing across the sky. By simply allowing them to move through you, you take back your power. One of the most powerful realizations about freedom is this. You don't need everything to go your way to be at peace. You can find freedom even in chaos. In fact, it's often in the chaos where we are given the most opportunity to practice freedom. When we let go of the need for life to be perfect, we open ourselves to the beauty and the lessons in the messiness. Life is never going to be without challenges, setbacks, or struggles, but freedom comes from accepting that, not from trying to escape it. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring, but at your center there's stillness. That stillness is your true self. It's the part of you that isn't shaken by external circumstances. When you connect with that stillness, you realize that freedom isn't about the storm stopping. It's about finding peace within it. The storm can rage around you, but you can remain calm. You can stand tall, rooted and steady in the midst of the turmoil, unaffected by it. That's true freedom. So how do you live this freedom every day? By practicing presence, by letting go of what you can't change, by opening your heart to life as it is, not as you wish it to be. You see, when we try to control everything, when we insist that life unfold according to our specific plans and expectations, we trap ourselves. Life is too vast, too unpredictable to control. But when we let go of that need, we open ourselves to something much greater. We allow the flow of life to guide us instead of fighting against it. Here's a mantra to carry with you. I am free no matter what. Say it when you feel overwhelmed, when things don't go as planned, or when emotions threaten to consume you. It's a reminder that your freedom isn't out there. It's in here. True freedom is not something that exists outside of you, something you can go out and find, or something that will magically appear once you've solved all your problems. It's already within you, waiting for you to realize it. True freedom is about showing up fully for life, without fear, without resistance, without the need to control. It's about being fully alive in each moment, trusting that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. The external world will continue to throw challenges your way. People will disappoint you, plans will fall apart, and circumstances will shift in ways you can't predict. But through it all, you remain rooted in that inner freedom, that stillness within you that can never be disturbed. When you live from that place, everything else becomes secondary. You no longer need to fight life. You can flow with it. You start to see the beauty in the most unexpected places, the small moments, the quiet times, the challenges that shape you. You become more connected with yourself and with the world around you. You realize that the more you embrace life as it is, the more free you become. It's not about waiting for things to be perfect or for everything to line up the way you think it should. It's about surrendering to the present moment, letting go of the need for control, and trusting that freedom lies in the acceptance of life as it unfolds. As you practice this, the layers of fear and doubt begin to peel away. The grip of emotional heaviness loosens. You stop fighting yourself, your circumstances, and the world. You start to feel lighter, more at ease, more alive. And that, in its simplest form, is freedom. Take a moment and breathe. Let the words settle. Let the thoughts quiet and just be here. This is the point we've been building toward. The realization that everything you need is already within you. The clarity, the peace, the freedom. They're not things you have to chase. They're simply waiting for you to uncover them. Think back to where we started, with that restless inner voice. At first, it might have seemed like the voice was in control, dictating your every thought, feeling, and decision. But now you know the truth. The voice isn't you. You're the observer, the one watching, listening, and choosing how much power to give it. Then we explored the weight of emotional baggage, the anger, fear, and pain we carry for far too long. Letting go wasn't about ignoring those emotions. It was about feeling them, honoring them, and then releasing them. You're not meant to hold on to every wave that crashes against you. You're meant to let them flow, trusting that you'll remain steady no matter how strong the tide. From there, we uncovered the illusion of control, the false belief that we can shape every outcome, avoid every mistake, and protect ourselves from life's uncertainty. True freedom came in the surrender, in trusting the flow of life, and realizing that the less you resist, the more peace you find. Finally, we stepped into the art of living openly. No more walls, no more hiding. Instead, an open heart, ready to love and be loved, to embrace life's moments with courage and authenticity. This is where joy lives, in the present, unfiltered and raw. It's about shedding the armor we wear for protection and being seen as we are. Because freedom isn't just about letting go of the past or letting go of fear, it's also about showing up for the present moment, without the weight of what was or what could be. As we continue on this path, remember that every small act of self-awareness brings you closer to the peace you seek. Each moment you choose to be present, to release what no longer serves you, You move further into your truest, most authentic self. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or for everything to fall into place. The moment to be free is always now. Now, as you walk this path, it's important to remember that growth isn't linear. There will be days when you feel lighter and others when it feels harder. But even on those harder days, you're still free. You're free because you're allowing yourself to feel, to experience, and to move through life without holding yourself back. Embrace the ebb and flow of your journey, knowing that each step is a part of the unfolding process. So what's next? What do you do with all this knowledge? The answer is simple: practice. This isn't a one-time shift, it's a daily choice. Every moment, you have the opportunity to step back and observe, to release what doesn't serve you, to let go of control, and to open yourself to the infinite possibilities of life. Because freedom isn't a destination, it's not a finish line you cross or a prize you win. Freedom is a state of being. It's choosing again and again to return to yourself, to trust yourself, to live fully and openly no matter what life brings. As you leave this, take one more deep breath. Feel the stillness within you, the unshakable part of you that nothing can disturb. Carry that with you, let it guide you, and remember, you are free not because of what's happening around you, but because of what's happening within you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Now go and live the freedom that has always been yours.